you could play any character in this game. We kind of got bit in the butt for this because you could play as Mary Jane. I think Metal Gear influenced us probably as much as any developer at that time making a video game. Spidey and Goblin, for the most part, were the same exact skeleton with just a different skin sitting on it. Like, oh yeah, I don't think we even thought about it. Like, I don't think our playtesters even caught that as a bug, because playing as other skins wasn't considered like a main level, like, kind of bug for us. There's something about PS2 graphics and the number of polys that you can have. You could get away with, some of that stuff back then.
And then what was the reasoning behind having the Green Goblin as a playable character? Because it was completely badass, but I think it is objectively, like, it seemed like a decent bit of extra work to pile on. What was the reason behind making it playable? Because games don't do that.
Yeah. It wasn't planned from the beginning. But what we did understand was to work with Neversoft's engine at that time. It had, I think, one male skeleton and maybe one female skeleton, but maybe it might have only just been one skeleton. That's how limited it was, and like the numbers of bones that particular skeletal rig, inside the character, was exactly one size. And that was just a limitation at the time for this, Tony Hawk game. It grew out of, like, all the skaters are roughly the same size. You don't have, like, Juggernaut or someone that's, like, huge, that you have to make with a crazy different skeleton, or Scorpion with a tail skeleton running off the back of it to animate the tail. And so you have one skeleton, and all of the characters are going to be, posed on this one character. So any animation works on any character. Any character can be any character. So we can test the game with Mary Jane web slinging her way through the city by just, like, loading her up, like which character you want to load, because they just will play all of the various different animations. So that just came through serendipity of, using Neversoft's engine. It had that ability to do that. Spidey and Goblin, for the most part, were the same exact skeleton with just a different skin sitting on it. And so that's what made it really easy in that sense. I mean, you still have to do game design things. And if you want to do a whole playthrough as Goblin, now you're signing yourself up as game designers to, you've been given a free Goblin to use with all free animations. Awesome. But you don't really have this whole other side of a game that you could do with it unless you spend some time and put some energy into that. And so, yeah, that got, you could play any character in this game. We kind of got bit in the butt for this because you could play as Mary Jane. And so one of the things was you could play through the whole game as Mary Jane, get to the big ending scene at the end of the bridge, and then, Spidey kisses Mary Jane. But if you're playing as Mary Jane kisses Mary Jane, and all the hoopla around all of that, when it was really just, oh, look, they're the same skeletons. We can have some fun by like load up a different character. You want to play as a different suited Spidey? Like, we would have loved to have had like a whole ton of Spidey suits, like all of the various different like Spideys throughout the years would have been great. We didn't have time for it all. But yeah, we had the ability to switch it around. I think the game designers were just like, we need to do something with this, because again, we're trying to make the most out of a product with 6 months. You can't you're not going to reinvent their game engine underneath so much. You just want to you're just trying to make sure you can take advantage of everything that's there and use it to the best of your abilities. And so we had the ability to load up different characters. We thought it was fun. If it's fun, do it. Like, we just, yeah, I don't know. It just, we could. And so we did.
Yeah.
And like you said, like, more games should do that or have that ability. It would be really fun. I mean, as games evolved and character skeletons and characters got way more, elaborate and specific. It doesn't allow for that kind of cookie cutter, hot swappable kind of, there's something about PS2 graphics and the number of polys that you can have, you could get away with, some of that stuff back then. I don't think you really could today. I mean, certainly there's like switching of skins and that kind of stuff, but things are so, much higher polygon counts. The whole textures and materials is a whole, thing. It's not. It was just an offshoot of the time and like what engines could kind of do. Sort of like limitations, but then kind of playing with those limitations. So yeah, it came from that. The team didn't set out with any kind of agenda to have Mary Jane kiss Mary Jane at the end. It was just like, oh yeah, we didn't. I don't think we even thought about it. Like, I don't think our playtesters even caught that as a bug, because playing as other skins wasn't considered like a main level like kind of bug for us in that game.
Yeah,
but yeah,
it definitely would have been annoying. Just at the end, it's like, oh, they kiss. And I was like, we have an entire game that you could say things about. They're like laser focus on that one like silly thing. It's just like, oh.
Hey, gamers.
Yeah, true. So was Metal Gear Solid an inspiration for any parts of the game? I say this namely because you had a lot of stealth mechanics in the game. There was the VR training modes, and then the final boss in the Oscorp sections is Oscorp's ultimate weapon, which kind of is like a giant Metal Gear of sorts.
Yeah. I think Metal Gear influenced us probably as much as any developer at that time making a video game. I mean, there was a while there where, I've been in games so long that we would be working on a game and everyone would compare everything to Doom. Is it like Doom? Or, we should do that thing like they do in Doom. And so Doom was a huge influence, and then Metal Gear Solid, which was a huge influence. But it wasn't like we set out like, oh, we should just do the Metal Gear thing. Like I don't know if I think that Neversoft in their engine, and I'm fuzzy on this, so I could be wrong. I think they had something in there for like a big character, and we wanted to try to like take advantage of that. The idea for the vultures, little spider hunters, the little mechanical spiders was my idea. But then I think it evolved eventually to kind of like, we'll have the big daddy one of that, inside Oscorp. I don't know. I don't know. I kind of lost my train of thought there, where I was going with that.
Well, what was the I guess just the inspiration for the the Big Daddy Spider for Oscorp's ultimate weapon, or was it just we want something big that shoots lots of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was like trying to make it feel like a big boss, and how can we I think they had that working from Inter Electro. I'm trying to remember. I don't exactly remember the why we had the big boss, but I think it had something to do with that, and then having Oscorp, we could kind of play with what we thought Oscorp would be, because they only showed a very limited amount in the movie, and we wanted to kind of make it more like for gameplay reasons. And fighting a big boss at the end would just be something kind of unique and would keep it it's not having to dip into Marvel stuff and saying, hey, we want to change your stuff. It's like, well, we came up with a game thing that fits in that world, and they were okay with it, kind of thing. So
yeah, that was awesome.
I don't have the best answer there for you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's fine. Like even if you say even if it's as simple as it was a while ago, don't remember. Like that's cool. Yeah. But just it is what it is. It's the exploring the time capsule of stuff. Sure. But what was the reasoning behind Scorpion's suit? So obviously in like the comics, he was pure green. And in the game, similar to the PS1 ones, he was the green and purple suit. What was the reason behind that? And was it, I think the reason for the PS1 was the low polys and the green just looked like a blob. Or was it already just in the engine?
Yeah. I think they were trying to make him cooler, honestly. I love the old original comics and the original Scorpion in the green, all green suit, but it's a little cheesy compared to like what you're trying to do with this badass Green Goblin throwing these goblin grenades that are look very high tech, right? And so if this is the world that you're creating, you kind of want the other bad guys to be of the same ilk without like fully going on into like an ultimate sort of redesign of the world. So I think it was really just trying to make Scorpion, again, as probably a carryover of what they had from Inter-Electro. But then again, for the same reasons you mentioned, like, you know, a blob of green on the screen just, you know, isn't going to read as well as having the, you know, the segmented up suit and being able to see those, you know, various different parts and things like that.
Yeah. If you enjoyed the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. And if you didn't enjoy the video, like, comment, subscribe, support the channel on Ko-fi and Patreon. Right, good luck.